Thursday edition of the podcast. I'm your host, Shane Haff. You can follow me on Twitter at Shane Haff NFL. Joined by the crew, we've got Ryan Reese. Give him a follow on Twitter at Philly Sports PSA. Ryan, how you doing tonight?
I'm certainly doing much better than I have been the last 3 weeks. I'll tell you that. It wasn't, it wasn't an ugly game. You got to play who you play, and let's hope it's the start of a little momentum.
Yeah, didn't I see somewhere that this was like the second shortest game in the Super Bowl era or something like that?
Was the shortest game this century.
It was great.
Yeah. It was nice for film watching when the backup offense is in for the whole fourth quarter and the defense only has 44 plays. It made film watching a quick experience, which is always nice this time of the year. But also joined by David. Give him a follow on Twitter at David Neese PHL. David, how you doing?
Doing wonderful. We get to preview a game where we have played our, I guess, backup from last year, and then we get to preview a game about to play a backup from 2 years ago. So
yeah,
kind of strange, but
yeah, the Eagles are going to face backup quarterbacks in what is it, 3 of their final 4 games of the year, which is just really weird. It's like the anti-gauntlet from, was it 2023 where they had like that 6-game stretch that was just ridiculous opponents. This is like the anti-gauntlet, but not to put 2023 in the universe. That was not just, we'll edit that out. But let's dive into it here. You guys that are watching live, be sure and join in the comments if you want to interact with us. Sorry to miss you guys last week. I had something come up, and then Ryan and David were just like, we can't do this show without you. You're an integral part of the show. We wouldn't know what to do. And so
that is exactly what happened too.
So we're back this week though, and we're going to dive in and give our top takeaways from the Eagles' victory over the Raiders. We'll briefly preview the matchup with the Commanders, but let's go offensive takeaways first. Ryan, what was your top offensive takeaway in this one?
That they actually looked like an NFL offense. It was a good mix of. I think they were building off of last week, where the play calling was certainly better. I thought that continued this week, I don't know. I just thought it was a good mix. Of utilizing, run, pass, Jalen himself. It looked like an offense. It looked like a stepping stone to some sort of offensive normalcy.
Yeah, it was nice. We'll say it that way. David, what about you? What was your top offensive takeaway?
That they started allowing Scott Loeffler to call all the plays. No, I'm kidding. But it did look, a lot different. They used motion to get Devontae Smith loose. They utilized Jalen Hurts' legs, or Jalen Hurts utilized his legs, whichever way you want to believe. They had Goddard pulling on Jalen said runs, QB draws. The shovel pass was nice to welcome that back. They were under center runs, under center play action, RPOs. They got out the huddle a little faster. It was a continuation from the previous week that them using less hitch routes, few more crossers, a slant to A.J. Brown in this one, a touchdown pass to A.J. on a seam route, their usual few bags of vertical routes. And, beating the brakes off a bad opponent doesn't fix all their issues, but the score isn't really what stood out to me. It was the integration of all the new plays that they put into the scheme. They used their personnel more effectively. Maybe not Calcaterra, but they did have some creativity, nothing earth-shattering, but it was enough to keep defenses honest, and they executed way better than they've been doing. And if the offense keeps evolving and becomes just slightly above competent, they have a defense that can carry them far this postseason. And I think that's pretty much the story that you leave this game with.
Yeah. I think they should use A.J. Brown in the slot more. I mean, he catches the touchdown out of the slot. That was only his second snap in the slot in the game, and on the season he's been in the slot like 10% of his snaps. But if you talk about wanting to open up throwing over the middle of the field, like you can use AJ Brown on more than slant routes and hitches and go balls. And if they want to put him in the slot, I mean, he's clearly, to me at least, I think he's Jalen's favorite target. And so put him in the slot and have the ability to run those seam routes and, some skinny post routes, and you can run crossers out of the slot and some of those things. So I would like to see him do that. But overall, I just loved the commitment to getting under center. Under center, I was saying in Discord throughout the week that, like, I don't think you're going to get there this year, but next year I want you to have 50% of your snaps under center. There's a lot of benefits of it. It's going to help you diversify the run game. It makes it easier to throw over the middle of the field, unlock some of those areas that, for whether it be a Jalen preference, whether it be a just the risk aversion of the organization in general, whatever it is, they don't like to throw a lot. And it helps you unlock some of those areas, a lot of different things. And so they were under center quite a bit in this game, and I hope that continues. But it wasn't just, like, so often when they get under center and they run play action, the only concept they ever ran was Yankee, which is a post route from one side and the dig route from the other side. And they ran a lot of different stuff in this game. They ran a leak play to Goddard where they kind of bootleg a little bit to the right and throw it back to the left. They ran a play action flood concept. There was some good stuff from under center. And so I want to see him continue to build that out. I hope it's not a one-off, because we've seen that a lot this year. They also were in heavy personnel a lot. And I don't know that I don't necessarily like that personally, but it's something they did that I maybe hope they don't do as much. But yeah, overall, just seeing them, and the run game still didn't work early. That didn't really come till later. And honestly, I mean, they run for 183 yards, but they were still under 4 yards a carry. So I wouldn't say the run game worked particularly well, but they stuck with it, and it still opened up some things in the passing game. And so that was just my top takeaway. The concepts made a lot more sense, and I hope it's a sign of moving forward, not just a sign of beating up on a bad opponent. But we'll see. I'm not sure we'll see in the regular season. They play the Commanders, who are the number 27 defense by DVOA twice, and the Bills, who are number 22. So they don't have a good defense left to test it out against, but you could feel a lot better by the time you get to the playoffs if, in fact, they continue to operate at this level, over the next month of the season or however long they play starters. So that was kind of my thoughts offensively. Let's go defensive takeaway. And David, you're at first. What's your top defensive takeaway?
I mean, defensively, they just suffocated the Raiders. They couldn't do anything all day. And a lot of people talked about the marriage on offense between the pass game and the run game. Well, that's the same on defense. The pass rush works off the defensive backs, and the DBs lock down the receivers, assisting the pass rush. And Quinyon Mitchell and Adoree Jackson have both been playing well. I mean, Adoree's been better than anyone expected. I mean, I dare say he's been excellent the last few weeks. I mean, he's really acclimated to what they're doing. He's played well. And the second takeaway for me is just Brandon Graham. That dude could play 2 more seasons if he wants to, especially if they keep him at defensive tackle. He was great. He had 2 sacks, became the oldest player in Eagles history to ever get a sack. He became the oldest player to get 2 sacks and a half since 2002, when Hall of Famer Bruce Smith did it. I mean, he is just unbelievable. And when you see him off the field, he is just the same way behind the scenes as he is on the field. He's coaching everybody up. He's a leader. He's a mentor. He's always the biggest vibe in the room. And that was something that was missing. And it took him a couple weeks before he finally got on the field and started, playing more. But the Eagles defense has taken a step in the right direction since he's been able to start contributing in that way again. And you can see the guys on the field like Jalen Phillips, who, doesn't really know him that well, but he's under his wing now. And Jahad Campbell, who hasn't got a lot of snaps here since Nakobe Dean has, come back, but he's always there listening. And it's just such an asset to have him back. I know a lot of people thought he wouldn't contribute or wouldn't be that big of a deal, but he's actually been a big reason why this defense has turned things around the past couple weeks.
All right. Ryan, what about you? What's your top defensive takeaway?
Yeah, I thought they handled their business as they should. I mean, they held the Raiders to 75 yards. That's like insane. I think what was that 1.8 yards per play. They were 3 from 12 on third down, so they were getting off the field. Even though early on, there was like a penalty or two that kind of helped sustain a Raider drive or two. But all in all, I thought this was a great game to really showcase how good you are. Obviously, the Raiders' offense is struggling. They traded away their best wide receiver. They're down to their backup quarterback. Their star rookie running back has kind of struggled, and so I thought they handled their business as they should, and they went past history to do it. So it's good to see.
Yeah, always fun to see a shutout. Also fun to see your backup offense outgain the Raiders offense in one drive. So that's always fun. I just wanted to shout out this Quinyon Mitchell statistic, but this was his 7th game this season, allowing 10 or fewer yards in coverage, which leads all cornerbacks in the NFL. And I mean, like, I wouldn't even look at it and be like, yeah, Quinyon was awesome in this game, so much as like the Raiders were kind of so inept it was really hard to tell offensively. But there's still just not to give up, a big busted play that led to a score or anything. Like, the defense is awesome, and they're only going to get better, hopefully when Carter comes back for the playoffs. And the defense did their job keeping the Eagles afloat while the offense was going through some stuff. And we're going to find out, if the offense has figured it out and they can make a run here, because the defense is special. And like David said earlier, I think you just need the offense to be competent. And they have not been for large chunks of the season, and hopefully this is a sign that they are. This is a great comment from Brett Eclipse here. It says, the point of view from a running back having to pick up Nakobe Dean on a blitz might be the closest thing to a real horror movie on this planet. Not just on a blitz either, but to be having a screen pass come your way and Nakobe Dean be on the field in those situations. It's just kind of a heat-seeking missile. He blew up a screen in this game that was pretty good too.
Yeah.
Cooper DeJean blew up a screen too, where he just like split the 2 guys that were there to block him and got to the wide receiver. Just a really good game all around. Let me ask this question, because this was one he put in the chat too. Do you think the Eagles will lean off of using Hurts as a runner over the next couple games because of how likely they are to win the division now, assuming they bring it back for the playoffs? How would you approach Hurts as a runner over the rest of the regular season?
Yeah, I think that's probably the smartest, way about doing that, especially, considering, we were talking, before the show of like kind of the scenarios of all of the particular, potential seeds they could get based on tiebreakers and whatnot. And obviously, we'll have a better picture of that after, this Commanders game. But yeah, I think it all depends on if you're playing for anything, one. And two, I think, I think it'd be smart, because utilizing Hurts with the run game, I think is the best version of this offense. So I'd be in favor of, letting it rest.
Yeah. What about you, David?
Yeah, going forward, probably I don't think they're going to dial it back this week, as there's just still too many things to play for. If there's a possibility they can get the 2 seeds, you're looking at a guaranteed 2 home games instead of the 1, and that's a big deal. So I do think they'll, still utilize it. Plus, it was a very small sample size that we had with the Raiders. I mean, things got out of hand so quickly. They didn't really stay in that too frequently. So I think you still want to see it a little bit. I still think Hurts needs to become a little comfortable with it. I believe all of us probably held our breath for a moment there when he did that awkward slide. Just kind of shows, he's just not right in his headspace there on how to get down. I mean, more than likely, he probably should have just took a hit than risked tearing up your knee or your ankle like that. But I do think they probably need to sprinkle it in a little bit. But if nothing can be won, we were trying to figure those scenarios pre-game show, and there's just no way to really do it at this point. But if there's nothing to play for after this week, yeah, you definitely dial it back. But for this week, I'd be surprised if they do. And you still want to build on what the offense has done the past 2 weeks, in my opinion, and still keep creating that.
Yeah, I wouldn't use him much as a designed runner. Like if scrambles happen, that's fine. But I mean, we all know that empty runs are great. I'd continue to get an empty, just look to throw it a little more. But I would try to keep him out of harm's way as much as you can, considering it's highly unlikely to matter and affect seeding at this point. Right. However, I mean, the Eagles called a zone read up 24-0 at the end of the third quarter, so that was pretty stupid, and it almost got him hurt. So I don't know. Don't slide late, kids. Don't slide late. Far better to take a hit. Like if you don't have 5 yards of runway to slide, don't slide. Just take contact. And that one really scared me, but I don't know. We'll see what they do, I guess. Let's do player of the game picks, and then we will throw it forward to the next one. Ryan, I'll give you first shot here. Who's your player of the game?
Oh, man. I feel like there's a bunch of people that probably could. Honestly, I'll go with Jalen Hurts. I think bouncing back off what was considered his worst game ever. And I thought he was, efficient. He looked good out there. He looked like he was making good reads. And like I said, he wasn't in there the whole entire game. And, it wasn't necessarily perfect, but it was good to see a bounce back. And that to me is certainly more important. So.
All right. Jalen Hurts from Ryan. David, who is your player of the game?
I'll give it to Nakobe Dean. He's just been so good since he came back. Since he's come back, I think he's tied for the most tackles on the team. He had 8 in this game, 2 TFLs. He's made just such a difference in the run. And his pass rushing ability, I think we joked about it a week before that he had like 6 missed tackles, 5 of them would be sacks. But he starts wrapping you up. I mean, he's a game changer, man. And a lot of people don't think he'll be extended. I don't know. I don't know that Jihad Campbell does what Nakobe Dean does. So I don't know what they're going to do there. It's a great problem to have, but I think he's been a huge difference on the defense since he came back.
All right. And you leave me in a quandary here because Dallas Goedert caught 2 touchdown passes.
Should have had a third.
He should have had a third. And you know what? If he had a third, I'd give him my player of the game. But I'm going to stick with my rule. I'm going to stick with because it wasn't even a hard catch. I'm going to stick with my rule that if you get an interception, you get a player of the game, and I'm going to give it to Zach Bond. So Zach Bond perfectly reads and reacts to a concept that's drawn up to beat the exact coverage the Eagles were in. Eagles are in quarters. They've got a box check on, and the Raiders run a route that should beat that, and Bond just realized it and said, not on my watch, and intercepts that pass. So also, like, I don't know what Kenny Pickett was thinking because Zach Bond was all over it, but good play there by Zach Bond. That's going to give you player of the game for me. So there you have it. Any other thoughts you want to fire off before we turn the page to the Washington Commanders?
Just how we had 2 player of the games be linebackers and Ryan didn't pick either. But
yeah,
hey, what can you do?
Listen, just trying to spread the love.
That is why I threw it to him first. I wanted to see which linebacker he would pick.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like when you do that, I know that everybody assumes that I'm going linebacker, so I try to steer away from it. Just then I get pigeonholed as the linebacker guy, even though I am the linebacker guy. But I don't know. Anyway,
where did you get that hat? I like that hat. I need one of those.
Pretty sure Fanatics.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go look that one up later.
It's been a little while, so I don't know if it's still around, but you never know.
All right.
I'm usually like I'm the type of idiot that will buy something immediately when I see it because I know how Eagles fans are.
Yeah.
Like the shoe. Anytime there's a new shoe, I buy it immediately because I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
And because they'll sell out very quickly.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go to the Eagles matchup with the Commanders, their opponent for 2 of the final 3 weeks of the season, because the NFL still doesn't have a clue how to make a schedule. Hey, NFL, just ask ChatGPT to make your schedule. Maybe they can do a better job. But here we are talking about the first of 2 matchups with the Commanders over a 3-week period. Back-to-back short weeks here for the Eagles as they went Monday to Sunday, now to Saturday. This game is Saturday at 5 o'clock. We'll go through our top matchups to watch on each side of the ball. We'll give our predictions. Let's start Eagles offense, top matchup to watch, David.
I'm going to just stick with the running game. I just think it's so integral. Tank is sick. Hopefully he's well by Saturday. They seemingly find a way to get you IV'd up. Fluids, he'll probably play. Saquon, I think he had 92 yards on 24 carries. Is that right? Which is what I don't know what that is per carry.
It was under 4. It was like 3.8.
Yeah, like 3.5, something like that. But he still managed a high workload. And he got into the end zone. That was good to see. And I think everything's predicated off of that. I want to see more runs under center. Maybe Lane will be back. Maybe he won't. I don't know. But the O-line could use all the help they could get. But yeah, I think everything is just predicated off the run game. And just in a funny aside, when you watch the film, and I know you do, Shane, and you see the way Saquon runs with such purpose and vision and looking, and then you see Tank get the ball, who runs like he just was running from a fire or something. It's just so funny, the different contrast and how they run, but it works so well together. And I just want to see them continue to build on that. And then, you can set up all of the play action off of that, which is an element that had been missing for the first 13, 14 weeks of the season. So that's what I'll be looking for as always. I just think the play of the O-line and their run game is just key to anything that they're going to have offensively moving forward, to any success that they'll be able to bring to this, to the team, and quit relying so frequently on the defense. And a 40-20 TOP helped things out quite a bit as well.
Yeah. All right, Ryan, Eagles offense, top matchup to watch. What you got? You're on mute.
My bad. I sneezed earlier and I never came back. I'm going to look at the Eagles pass game versus the Washington pass defense. I think they're ranked 26th in the league in pass defense. And, again, I think we've seen some good things over the last couple of weeks, in the pass game. Obviously looked really good last week. I just kind of want to see a build on it. Dallas Goedert finally got involved to the, last game. A.J. Brown looked really good. Devontae had a couple of nice catches. So all in all, it was a good game. And I just, again, want to see it continue again versus a bottom tier pass defense.
All right. My top matchup to watch is the top thing I'm watching is Frankie Luvu. He is a dirty player that has a history with the Eagles. He was earlier this season suspended for a game for his 3rd hip drop tackle of the season, and then that suspension was later overturned on appeal, and he was given a $100,000 fine. He hit Bo Nix in the head a couple of weeks ago. That was pretty bad. He's just a dirty player, and I just want to get out of the game healthy and with no Frankie Luvu incidents. So honestly, that's what I'm watching when the Eagles are on the field, is where is that dirtbag, and is he trying to injure one of the Eagles offensive players, because that's just the way that he plays. So I cannot stand him at all.
I cannot wait to watch this game and scream out loud, where is that dirtbag?
Yeah. Yeah. You know how they'll point out, so-and-so's the mic. They should just call out his number every time and be like, the dirtbag.
The dirtbag.
Yeah. I'm
here for whatever number he is now.
Yeah. So, okay, let's go defense. Ryan, what's your top matchup to watch for the Eagles defense?
It's going to be the pass rush. Obviously a couple of weeks back, kind of was non-existent, and last week it was nice to get some pressure. Got 4 sacks. Brandon Graham looked great. Jalen Phillips looked great. I thought there was a lot of good pressure. And again, as we kind of continue towards the playoffs, these are the little things that I want to see kind of continue, and not just kind of go away, or just kind of we almost forget about it, because we've had a couple of games like that. And again, you can only play the teams that are in front of you. And yeah, the Raiders are pretty bad, and Washington's pretty bad, especially without Jaden Daniels. So let's continue. It's a team that's slightly better than the Raiders. So let's continue to see the same amount of pressure, and just it doesn't matter who we're playing. Let's get after that quarterback.
All right. So yeah, pass rush. Also, I think it's still up in the air if Laramie Tunsil is going to play. He's tagged as questionable right now, so we'll see how that develops throughout the week too. But David, what about you? What's your top matchup to watch?
Containing Marcus Mariota. The Eagles have shown just having trouble with mobile quarterbacks, not just this year, just in general. I believe last week Mariota only completed 10 passes, but he also ran for 10 times for over 40 yards. The Eagles allow the second most rushing yards by a quarterback in the league, which it's just a problem. So containing him will be a big deal, and also doing it for 4 quarters, because a lot of teams have bottled him up, but Mariota showed in week 13 how dangerous he could be when you don't play 4 quarters, and he threw for like 160 yards and a touchdown in that 4th quarter in overtime. The production was late in the game, but yet again it was against one of the league's best defenses too. It just shows you have to play a game for 4 quarters, and containing him is paramount, because he can extend plays with his legs, and they just can't take any plays off with him because he can flip the field really quick.
Yeah, to your point, in his last 3 starts, Mariota's rushed for 49, 55, and 43 yards on 4, 10, and 10 carries. So, yeah, it's a good thing for them to work on headed into the playoffs, because, I guess even if Jaden Daniels had played, you're going to have that mobile quarterback. But their final 3 games will be against mobile quarterbacks. That'll be something that they get a chance to test themselves on. For my matchup, I'm going to go with what Brett Eclipse already said here. It's Quinyon Mitchell versus Terry McLaurin. It's been a rough year for Terry McLaurin in some respect. Well, in every respect, I guess, the way it's just shaken out for them. Obviously, they're not where they wanted to be after an NFC Championship game appearance last year, and now they're a 4-win team in December. And lots of injuries, lots of regression that a lot of people, I think, kind of saw coming. But McLaurin hasn't had the best year so far. He's only got 409 receiving yards on the year. Is coming off of a good game, 69 yards and a touchdown against the Giants. But he's been banged up. He's missed time. I really want to see him and Quinyon Mitchell matched up against each other. Now, the Eagles have not traveled Quinyon Mitchell, and I don't think they're going to start now. They're going to keep Quinyon on the short side of the field, but when he's lined up across from Terry McLaurin, I can't wait to just watch that battle, because Quinyon Mitchell is so much fun to watch in those situations. So that's what I'm going to be watching for. All right, let's get into our score predictions, player of the game predictions. David, I'll give it to you first. What's your score prediction, and who are you calling for player of the game?
I went 26-16 Eagles. I do think that they'll dominate defensively, but as we saw against the Raiders, they will start pulling players late in games if they have a lead, and I could see Mariota, Terry McLaurin, somebody getting a touchdown late in the game after being contained for much of it. But I went 26-16 Eagles, and I'm going with Saquon, who I am just still confident is going to have another one of those 60-plus yard bursts for a touchdown, and this would be a good week to go ahead and do it early, go into the holiday season healthy and well, and building upon that running game.
All right. Ryan, what about you?
Yeah, I'm going to go with 27-13. I think Jalen Hurts is going to come out, look even better, throw the ball a bunch to AJ and Smitty, and then hopefully we can just rely on that run game to milk the clock.
All right. Who's your player of the game?
Oh, Hurts. Sorry.
Hurts. Okay. You implied it. I was just making sure that's where you were going.
My brain just like froze. I was like, what was the question?
Ryan just looked like Kevin Patullo suddenly realizing he has to call another play, and he only has 40 seconds to do so.
Well, hey, at least I didn't wait till 5 seconds left to get it to you.
Yeah, that's true. Although maybe if Hurts had a microphone in his helmet and he could be like, "Hey, Kevin, what are we doing here?" But it's just a speaker, so he can't. So,
right, right.
You get
it would be nice to have a little talk back.
It always makes me think of I think it's Stafford where McVay is like giving him a play call. Have you seen this video? I think it was from a couple years ago, and he's like, I got it. He's like, oh my gosh. And then he's like talking to the guys in the huddle. He's like, he's still going. He's like, please stop. And then he looks at the sideline and he throws his hands up and he's like, I've got it. Yeah. Have you guys seen that video?
I have, yeah.
I love that video.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm gonna go 28-10 Eagles. I think, they're gonna give up a Mariota scramble. They might give up a McLaurin deep ball or something like that, but I think they will win this game not as easily as they beat the Raiders because the Commanders are a better team. They're a much better coached team, and it's a divisional game and stuff can happen there, especially when you're on the road. So I'll say 28-10, and I will go player of the game. I'm going to give it to Dallas Goedert. Maybe we just keep throwing him shovel passes in the red zone.
I gotta tell you, I love that. That's the kind of stuff I like.
It's an interesting strategy. You get your tight end in a contract year, and you're like, hey, what if we just shovel you like 12 touchdowns this season so you can ask for more money on your contract? But,
right, yeah.
I'll go 28-10 and Dallas Goedert for my player of the game. Brett Eclipse was asking about if we were going to ever bring back an over-under segment of the show. And I ran out of time to message because I had to start talking here. But I think he's asking about not the big show we do in the preseason, but last year we did over-under picks. I do kind of remember that now.
Really?
Dibes
did all that.
Yeah, Dibes put those together. And
doing that. We did that per game?
Yeah. We had like 5 prop bets
totally
for the
forgot
week.
That.
Yeah. So
I do remember doing them. Oh, man. All right, listen. If you want them, if the people are clamoring for it, we should do it.
Yeah. So we're always open to stuff like that. So maybe we can bring that back.
Yeah. Or maybe we could just force Dibes out of retirement just to do that and send it out to us.
Make Dibes set the lines for us and send them to us.
Just do the lines.
But yeah, so that's something we can definitely look into bringing back. All right. Anything else that Ryan? Anything else you want to shout out about this matchup? Anything you're watching for?
Yeah. Again, I just as easily as they handled the Raiders, I would like similar control. Again, I'm not assuming that they're going to beat them 31-0 or whatever. But like I said, I want it to be a comfortable, controlled victory where we're not sweating and having a heart attack and yelling at the TV and screaming out, "Where's that dirt bag?" Or whatever we're going to be doing. So let's have a nice chill, because I got to tell you, I did my fair share of just that was the chillest watch of an Eagles game I've ever had in my life. I just sat back. I was just like, this is awesome.
It was a weird watching experience for me because I didn't get to watch it live, and I got home so late that the kids wanted to watch it, and it's like, we only have time to watch the condensed version before you need to go to bed. So I had to watch the condensed version, which I don't like doing that. I do that a lot for like other games for Chalk Talk that I didn't get to catch live, but I don't like to do it for Eagles games because it's just so like choppy. You lose the flow of the game, I feel like. That's how I watched the game, which was weird. I didn't like it, but it's just what we had to do this week. I'm looking forward to watching a normal game on Saturday for sure. Had a comment here from Ryan.
Right here.
A different Ryan. Says the Eagles are a playoff team because all the other teams suck. So they make the playoffs, but not because they're good, but because all the other teams in the NFC and the division suck. Do they win it all? No. They have amazing talent, but it's going to waste. I'll just say I think the three best teams in the NFL are in the NFC. The NFC is much more of a complete conference this year than the AFC is. I mean, you got the Rams, the Seahawks, the Bears, the 49ers, the Packers, and the Eagles, I think, are all really good teams. And I think the Lions are still a decent team. So the NFC, now, the NFC East isn't necessarily good, but I think the cream of the crop in the NFL right now is in the NFC. And I've been saying the talent on the offense was going to the waste all season, and hopefully they'll turn that around. But the Eagles aren't just going to the playoffs because other teams suck.
Yeah.
The NFC is pretty loaded this year, in my opinion. So, Brett Eclipse also wanted to know, last second hypothetical, if we blow out Washington and the 3 seed is locked up after this week, do you sit starters against Buffalo? David, how would you approach that?
No, I'd play them. Against Buffalo, you got to go. It's just too many weeks of not playing, in my opinion. And the Eagles, back to the previous one, I mean, they beat the Rams, the Packers, the Lions. They pretty much beat, everybody but the Bears that you mentioned that they faced.
Yeah.
And to me, that was more an anomaly than, the way they really are built. But yeah, I would definitely play the starters against the Bills. Unless there's some mitigating factor not to, like a sleet storm or just something crazy that, just could put players in harm's way. But other than something crazy, yeah, I think they need to work.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets tough. Like, I'm all for protecting starters, but I don't think you want to sit starters for 2 weeks going into a playoff game. So I'm going to play the starters. If the 3 seed is locked, I'm going to play the starters, but I might look at pulling either a Dickerson or a Juergens that I think is hurt and playing Toth instead. And I'm not calling run plays for Jalen. And I'm not bringing Jalen Carter back, but
Yeah.
I would like for Lane Johnson to get a game of snaps in. So, I'd probably, if he's ready, I would bring him back, but then I would sit him down for that Week 18 game too. So I just think, Week 18, you rest guys if it doesn't impact seeding. The only potential thing there is if you've got the 1 seed on ice, I would probably play my starters just a little bit. But anyway, so yeah, I would play starters. I would just approach the game a little differently if that seed is secure. But Ryan, thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I'm kind of there with you. I think we'll know a lot more after this Commanders game, whether or not we're going to even have the ability to sit somebody, what seeds might be available for us. If we win, obviously, we clinch the division, but will we? I don't think we'll be able to get into the 4th spot. So 3rd, I think, is ultimately going to be the worst that we can be. But can we get to the 2? Can we get to the 1? Because right now we hold the tiebreaker over the 1, which is the Rams. But if they lose, then Seattle becomes the 1. So it's a very confusing, multi-scenario laden puzzle that we're going to have to figure out. But we'll take it as it comes. But yeah, no need to get anybody hurt.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is going to about do it. Krabby says that we need to hire Brett Eclipse as a co-host. He he basically is the shotgun co-host for this show and Chalk Talk. He's always in the chat for those. So, always appreciate some of the questions and comments he has, and all the rest of you.
Let
as
him
well.
set the line. Let him submit them early in the day.
There you go.
There you go. Brett Eclipse, send us some lines for next week. Send us like 5 over-unders, and we'll go over them on the show.
Yeah, I was gonna say how many did we used to do?
Dives did way too many.
Yeah, he definitely did way too many, but
he was like, let's do this short segment, and here's 28 lines.
How many field goals is Jake Elliott gonna miss today?
That was a line a bunch of times.
It was. Yeah. Will Jalen Carter finally win MVP of a game after I called it every time?
Oh man! All right, Brett Eclipse, send us a few lines. You can hop in the Discord, hit me up on Twitter, however you want to do that.
Yeah, go over
the
some old episodes like from about a year ago, just to get a feel for how Dives did it, and then just maybe not as much.
Ryan's trying to get those residuals, trying to get you to watch some old episodes.
I mean, listen.
All right. Well, that is going to about do it. Before we get out of here, throw it around the horn for final thoughts and plugs. Ryan, you're up first. Tell the people where they can find you, what you got going on, all that good stuff.
Yeah, you can follow me right here on X, Twitter, whatever we're calling it these days, at Philly Sports PSA. Gonna be going live tomorrow for the Football Smack Talk show around 5:15ish. And yeah, we'll be talking more birds about the Raiders and the upcoming Commanders. And then as per usual, go off on a tangent and talk about something super random. But other than that, you can find me on Eagles Pinball Network. Make sure you guys are following these guys. I hope to only get residual fallout from these guys' amazing, Twitter. That maybe you'll feel sad for me and then follow me. So that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, go throw Ryan a pity follow on Twitter at Philly Sports PSA.
I'll take
it. David, what about you? Plugs, final thoughts. The floor is yours.
Yeah, you can find everything on my X handle or at Philly Sports Network. I did have one question. If you've already watched the games, it appeared they were breaking the huddle earlier. Was that a thing? Like, do we have like a definitive?
I mean, I noticed it too, just from the normal eye test. So
now, of course, there's not a lot of stress when you're winning by 20 points. So
sure,
the process probably was sped up, but it did look substantially faster from the beginning of the game, not just as it went on. It looked like it was a point of interest that they had made throughout the day. But I didn't know if Shane, if you had anything like definitive in that regard.
I don't. I haven't seen a stat. And there's no play clock on the all 22, and watching the condensed version with the kids, I definitely didn't have a feel for that, because it's like, man, they're getting to the line fast because he just got tackled 2 seconds ago and they're snapping the ball again already. I don't have a good feel for that one this week. Like. I will keep an eye on it for this next week though. I do wish you get the clock and the score and the down and distance on all 22. I wish you got the play clock.
Yeah, that would be nice. Well, listen, I'll just rewatch it from start to finish, and I will note every time when what the play clock is.
You joke, but I've literally done that for games this year.
Yeah, I'm not. I'll do it. Don't tempt me.
So, unfortunately, we're in my this is my last week of my real big busy season push at work, so I will not have time to do that. But Brian, let us know what you find out. So, all right, David, you did your final thoughts.
You already did, David.
David is done.
David's done.
David's done. Well, let's get out of here. Thank you guys for joining us for this episode of Birds of the Round Table. Always enjoy hanging out with you guys on Tuesday nights, especially after a win. If you are looking for something else to do tonight, Mark and I are going to be going live with Chalk Talk. He said that he'll be ready around 9, so we'll probably be live around 9:15 or 9:30. We'll see. So just toggle on those notifications so you get it. But we'll be live later this evening discussing the rest of the NFL slate. There were some really good games this week Johnny and I will be doing our film show tomorrow. I've already got my past game review out on Patreon, and if you're not in the Patreon and you like film stuff, come check it out at patreon.com/Eagles Film Room. Every week I put out an all-22 film review for the past game. Johnny does a film preview. We do a player spotlight. Not sure who this week's player spotlight is going to be yet. I need to go check that poll and see who won. But last week it was Jalix Hunt. So lots of stuff there. You can go grab a free 1-week trial and check out all of the backlog of content. I think you guys will like it. Other than that, thank you guys for joining. We'll catch you next week on another episode of Birds of the Round Table. Go Birds.